same difficulties he has been faced and how he has been come out, what strategies he has been introduced for his own organization, his experience, his expertise, and for the learning that is going to here that describe prescribe as well as the actionable idea are going to share with you. So now the screen is with you, Mr. Suresh Krish, and now continue your session with small introduction, then your time is further to the 50 minutes.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks once again. Dinesh, I'm not unable to share the screen. I think that enable my PPT.
Let me just make you the
Or
host
if you have the
so
PPT, you
that
can also.
we I think we do not have right away. So hey, this is the reason to the that I have to make you the okay. So here,
In case you have the PPT, you can also put it, yeah, to save time, whichever is convenient to you.
just give me a while. We don't have right now. That is with my team.
Yeah,
So
meanwhile, I'll just go with my intro so that, no.
yeah.
Yeah.
Till then, I just putting you into the
Yeah.
host.
Good afternoon, all. Once again, thank you for a fabulous Sunday post lunch. You're all here. It gives me immense pleasure to address this August audience. And my name is Suresh Krishnamachari. I'm from Chennai. I'm basically operations professional for the last 20 plus years, worked across multiple geographies. I'm also into coaching. I'm a cognitive coach and helping individuals and organizations in Chennai. And I'm excited to be part of the August channel. So today I'm going to talk about a concept which is relatively new to India, getting into the mainstream, and it's globally, it's always there in the last 10 to 15 years. So I'll run through basically from how a global perspective this topic is relevant, it looks, and then I'll take you to the Indian context, and then presently. So many of my topic today or coverage will be on a typical IT perspective. That's because I work in IT domain and I'll be able to connect to that closely, and that's the reason I would encourage each one of you to even ask questions at the end of the slide itself, rather parking your question at the last, so that we can engage continuously and to make the session more interactive. That's one requirement I would be having with you. And yeah, we can proceed once Ganesh is ready. Okay, so before that, let me have an ice breaking session. How many of you? I know many of you are veterans and stalwarts in the industry. How many of you know about this concept called right to disconnect, or have been hearing about that? Somebody can raise a hand or put in the chat box? That would be great. According to you, what do you mean by that? You can mention that a one-liner here.
Yes, please quickly write in the chat box so that your
What
interaction
according to
will
you
get
is
the
right to
motivation.
disconnect? Because it's a very generic word, and what do you mean by that? Or in case you're already hearing about that in the various social forums, you can mention that also, and how that is relevant to you, or have you come across any cases in your organization? Because especially the very starting point, the first line, I'm going to talk about the recent incident which happened in one of the big five organizations. We all be aware. It was a topic discussed in various forums. Yeah, Krishanan said, fantastic. Be away from work office hours. Amazing, because that is exactly what we're going to address about it. But it is not only that. There are various other facets we're going to cover. Switching away from office is only one aspect of that. Kudos to you. Yeah, switch off mode. But how many of us, let's be very frank, how many of us are really fortunate to go to that level? I'll again share my own personal example. As I told you, I'm handling the operations in my organization. My day starts from 7 a.m. and goes till 10 p.m. And there are times when I need to be in the typical office organization hours of 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. But then my job envisages more time, and as I handle the fleet transport, somebody calls up. I need to, let's say I need to coordinate the driver in the morning at 6:30. I need to keep my mobile on. So here I'm going to talk about interesting aspect. Okay, one is you work in the office hours. The one is you have passion about your job. You work stretch about that. How do you draw a line? So that's going to be the premise I'm going to start at. Right or reject? Absolutely, Dr. Rapal, you're on spot. You have every right to reject if it's going to beyond your the agreed aspects. And what is agreed is what interesting aspect, because for you one is your agreement, for the organization there is another agreement. So how do we draw a line? Where is it actually it starts and ends? It's That's a very interesting debate which is going across in the various stream. So I'll talk about in the global perspective what has happened is countries like France, Italy, Belgium, they're all been much here. They've been floating this norms the last 15 years, and every year or every frequent years they've been amending the laws. Now in India, this erupted as a volcano after the suicide thing of one of the female employees in one of the audit firms. So that's where the entire see if you look at it even in our history, like if we can correlate our Indian freedom movement, one or two particular instances in our national leader ignited a kind of freedom movement. Similarly, after this incident in our corporate circle, everywhere people started about it. Organizations started looking at, hey, look, whether we have to look at this as a important topic in the boardroom. Employees started asking, and also if you look at it, the kind of working which happened post COVID, especially with the Gen Zs and millennials, you have seen the way they look at it is life and work balance totally different. Dr. Manapal has once again said mutually agreed terms and conditions and beyond the right to, yes, absolutely, absolutely right. Manora is it work-life balance. Amazing. That's see when you say work-life balance, one input I want to give everybody is generally people say life is after work, or you say 9 to 7 is work, and after 7 p.m. to 9 a.m. is life. No, it's not that. From morning your office hours also is part of life, right? So work is a subset of life, right? So that's a very good point you have started, and that's a misnomer also across. Your work is a very important part of life. If you are not in tandem with your work, if you're not in tandem with job satisfaction, then probably you are negotiating, probably you are compromising the very facet of your life. Okay, very good points keep coming, and yeah, please, there's nothing called good point or a thing debatable point. Everything is good. Nothing is agreed in corporate world. Yes, corporate world keep changing the rules. The rules of the game changes according to the industry you work, according to the organization you work, according to the kind of management you work. So Krishna has given one more valid point. And are we ready, Dinesh ji? Yeah. Okay. Fine. So these are some of the things which I'm going to start in the thing, and you can share your inputs again, and also you can go into the unmute mode or raise your hand to ask questions on a particular slide when we cover. So if anybody here covering global perspective, I can go in depth. Otherwise, you can directly go to the Indian context. No, like how
Can you share the
the
slide from there, or otherwise I have received the slide of your presentation, so I can share also here.
absolutely. So probably you can run through the right to disconnect the Indian aspect. We are exactly into that point.
Okay, just
There
give me
is
a
a
while. Give me a
there's a
while.
Word document being prepared, and thanks to Dinesh and People Manager team for the amazing introspective points they've also collated along with me, talking about and how in Indian context this is presently going around. What is the kind of importance we give to this in the Indian thing? That's I would like to talk about briefly before going into the PPT itself. Yeah, this is you already seen me. I given my input, and yeah, so we're expected to. Krishna has given one more point. We're expected to think, yes, absolutely, absolutely. This is.
Okay, you are on the agenda right away.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So we talked about the different global reforms and right to disconnect laws, how it's prevailing and thing. And if any of you are handling multi geographies, multi locations, multinational things, can always ping me. We can talk about it in detail once we all into the group. And yeah, when an employee's refusal to be considered is unreasonable. Yeah, this is a very important thing. Let's say in an IT or any organization, the she closes he or she closes the laptop by 7 p.m. and there is a requirement where somebody has to reach up at 9 p.m. Now, is it right or wrong? Right. That's what we're going to dwell deeper into the topic. And the third point is what is reasonable and what is unreasonable. Again, there are two points here in the same thing. Okay, you can even say three. One is the organization, one is the employer, and in between the devil is always in the details, right? And the truth is always in between. So sometimes both can be unreasonable also, right? So let's go and drill it deeper into that. So what are the third parties and how do we escalate? How do we get clarity? Who are the third parties which you can go into? That's what we are talking about. The other one. And how do you manage a dispute? Yeah, because there are a lot of legal things involved in that. Of course, the HR will have his represent the organization, so HR will talk about it. and they do the balancing act. But how do you manage the dispute? That's other aspect. Let's see what let me chat. You are expected to, yeah, Krishnan says, you expected to think only work during work hours, but you're also expected to think work after work hours. So work mode is always on. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of disclaimers will keep coming. So it all depends on individual experiences. Amazingly, this is happening many of the IT organizations I've seen. I have a lot of colleagues in the industry. And recently, I was talking about a person who resigned due to his personal reasons. So I asked him. He was just talking to me about some PF clarification. This happened on Friday. So I asked him, "Hey, look, what are you doing now?" He's almost a year. He's fit, and he says, "See, Suresh, for me, suddenly I realized that life is not work. So I'm on a sabbatical mode, and in fact, he's not last 1 year. He's not earning." And he says he met during this 1 year a lot of seniors in the industry, both on the IT and the non-IT, and he feels that there is no kind of proper duration of timeline fixed for working. He says, "I've compromised a lot." He in fact worked in the US for a few years, and he came to India the last couple of years. And he says it's especially in a US organization, what happens is, no, you have a headquarters in the US, and the Indian is a support or you're a technology center, a support center. So they have to work on two different time zones, right? One is your time zone for your work, and one is for the client. He says, "I have compromised on my health." He says, "My health is wealth. If that is the case, I also compromise my wealth." So he said, well, I asked him then interestingly, "So what is it I'm going to do into thing?" He said very clear, "I'm not going to join one more organization." Forget about IT, he says, because this is now it's going across all the industries. I'm going to do freelancing. Okay, that's the other kind of economy which is opening up. And of course, these are all individuals' likes and dislikes, individuals' requirements. What is right for one person may not be financially viable for the second person. So this came as a because have been interacting with him. I never thought that he's going to shut down his job opportunities of close to around 30 plus years. And he says, "I have parents to take care. That's also my kind of responsibility. So I'm not in a position to take one more job." So that's the kind of individual reactions and keep coming from various of the employees whom I interact. To sum up your point, Sharad and Kalika says corporate life always impact work life balance. Yes, 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 absolutely, including a role in organization. Yes, very much, very much. It always impacts. See, it has happened to everybody in this room. You have a very tough meeting in the organization, or you face a tough challenge, and when you enter your home, don't tell me. Let's be very honest. Don't tell me you're going to smile and come inside. Thing, right? Even your dog, which shows you so much of affection and comes and licks, you will not be able to reciprocate. So let's not wear mask. And absolutely kudos to you. That's a very valid point. We get influenced by what's happening in that 9 to 7, and that goes to 7 to 9, unless you go into a meditation or no, your other airline mode after that and come out of it. Krishan says, "In my last assignment, yeah, okay. My HQ was in London, work area was West Africa, and office location India. So my timeline extended." Exactly, Krishna. Exactly. This is a predominantly this is a feedback I'm getting from many of the corporate professionals who work on a different time zones where they are sandwiched between no, the international timelines. Yes, and there are certain organizations also I should support. See, they give the flexibility. Hey, look, you work in that particular time where your client requirements are, and balance time you balance it. So this is something which I'll come back how you can negotiate or how we can openly discuss. If you're working in Sharad says working in a higher position, you have to be available as per organization business requirement. Yes, this is other thing. They say no. These are all perks you get when you grow up the ladder. They're non-negotiable. Yes, business requirements, takes you to various commitments. Yeah, I can be tiring. Yeah, so yes, Dinesh, can you go to the next slide? So any questions in that particular thing also you can think. So yeah, what are the global reforms? How this is relevant to our Indian context? Like a couple of friends put in the chat, if your headquarters is in that particular country, then this is very relevant to you. Yeah, we can go to the next slide. Yeah, not all the countries, I would say, have developed a very comprehensive policy on this. There are some who are also evolving in that, and some we already established, and the other countries which copy into that to make life better for both of this. So the right to disconnect increase recognized. That's the good thing is this has been recognized, like how we said, no, it's COVID is recognized as a global pandemic. So similarly, this is recognized as a kind of a challenge which has been faced for many people, and it's going to be faced by many professionals in India also. So that is one good thing. This has taken visibility in the global markets. Yes, can go to the next one. Yeah, thanks, Krishna. Yeah, this in fact, I took my time off and mentored him. I told him, hey, look, you said last 1 year you're not getting any salary because you're not working, and you also said that your parents are in require financial support in terms of medical. Yes, right now you got a good savings because of you're working in US and Indian. But then I said, what about your so-called the 15 years of work experience in this domain? Why should you let it go? So I suggested. He said, no. You know what he said? Okay, he said, I'm going to set up organic shop. Huh? This is exactly the words he's told. I thought the freelancing is going to be his main thing. He said, no, my core business now is going to be setting up a kirana shop kind of thing, organic, and then do take up assignments with my own convenience. That's the thing. Yeah. So we look at a few countries which are already pioneers in this. One is France. France, it started somewhere in 15 years before they started working their laws, and that was again followed by some other neighboring countries. Then Spain was also there. They had something called digital workers law. See, this is a very interesting one because they had this digital revolution and exposure many years before. So they have come to that level, how to somebody can take a digital detox, or how you can move out of the digital workplace. So these countries have already taken a head fast into that. Belgium is again another organization. They're very strong in the legislative efforts. Yes, yes, Dinesh. Yeah. Okay. So here we are talking about the first set of the coin, which is anybody here? How many of you here are basically into policy decisions role, or any CXOs here, or who basically influences? Oh, fantastic! So yeah, you'll be able to correlate with me very closely on that, and how this can be done. So you we are, as a part of your leadership team, you should help in developing a very comprehensive policy within the organization for the benefit of employees, at the same time without compromising on the productivity or the revenue for the organization dot, because you are expected to be playing a dual role, and you got to be very do a balancing act. That's from the employer thing. And of course, rest maybe the employee segment, like me, how you engage with the employees whenever this kind of thing. It's very important to give clarity. For to give clarity, first you should understand what is your organization culture. Now, you cannot say, no, I read a book about this in France or in Spain or Belgium. That's not going to work out. If you're from Chennai or if in Hyderabad, you got to talk about the rule of the land, the rule of what your organization talks about. That is what is relevant, and you have to give the right clarity to the employees. The clarity may not be satisfactory or delighted, but then you have to make them understand this is how it is, and you are the evolving path. Yeah, we can go to the next slide. Yeah. So how does the future looks in this? Okay. So an Indian thing, Dinesh, is it possible where we can take a 1 minute on that Indian beautiful context write up you are prepared? Is it on your table, or there's a Word document? Fine. Or I have it in front of me. Can I? Yeah, I can do it. Yeah. See, in Indian context, I'll tell you. As I told you, the trigger to all this happened Ernest and employee. Okay, that became a big thing. While we're not going to debate on what exactly happened there, that's not the agenda of this discussion. We're talking about how overworking is affecting individually. All right, how you say overworking leads to productivity? It is not. It's a myth. Overworking doesn't lead to productivity. Okay, it is you've got a limited kind of a space, mental space where you operate, and you need to take the desired breaks. That's how something called circadian rhythm is there. If anybody is into coaching thing, you'll understand. Your body works typically how the universe has made you to operate, and how the nature of the universe, the laws of the universe operates. So you cannot be kind of say, no, I'm a workaholic, I'll have some kind of medicine and work for 18 19 hours for 6 months. Yes, you might, but you might be thinking you're working physically, but it will not lead to productivity. So that is what we're talking about here. Overworking doesn't mean to more productivity. So The right to disconnect laws is into a regulation which helps whether how long you should be available over email or a text message or a phone call, and is there any kind of curtains, especially if you're talking to female employees and talking to a male boss, is there any curtain between that? How do you draw a line, and what are the repercussions of doing it and not doing that? So in India, if you look at it, there are certain articles of 38 of our constitution which talks about how the state will take care, and the 39 again supports that, and there's also a bill passed recently in 2018. But then these are all the statutory norms and the thing. But for you, typically at the beginning of the day or end of the day, you need to you are working between a fixed hours. How this is going to affect, you should understand. Number one, the efficiency is affected. All right, for example, a task which basically, see, there are few hours first, everybody will be in the zone, you call it, right? Will be in a flow mode. Then afterwards, what happens? You totally your performance efficiency is slightly coming less. So that is the reason organization work on a fixed hours. So if you're trying to stretch it, then there is going to be a burnout. So that you should be aware. And especially if you're in a product development organizations in IT, or even for that matter, it will affect creativity. It will definitely affect creativity because you cannot focus beyond a thing. Then, of course, the famous thing of work-life balance, where you will not be able to spend, you're not able to do your work, and your weekends are taken care of by other things. It will definitely affect your Monday mornings. Yeah, the Monday morning blues will definitely be a thing. So, what are the arguments in favor to right to disconnect? Yeah, before we go to that, let's go into that. Um, Technological compliance mechanisms we completed. Yeah, what is a reasonable? Yeah, we just completed. What is reasonable, unreasonable refusals? Now, okay, suppose you say whether the employee is going to comply, or if you don't agree to that, whether the employee is going to or employee is going to get affected. Okay, so these are the. I'm audible now, Dinesh. Hello.
You are
Yes,
audible.
sir,
Carry
you're
on.
No,
audible. Yes.
no. There's indication says something went wrong. Please close all browsers. Rejoin the meeting. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I saw an indication here. Maybe the system is wrong. Oops. Okay, so let's define what is reasonable and what is unreasonable. So, so far, what I've covered. Anybody has any thoughts or any agreement, disagreement? Sharad is more point. Most of our senior leaders have to attend all foreign clients meeting mostly in late evenings. They comprehend family and time. See, Sharad, this is a very thing I can correlate one thing. See, it happens in many of organizations which I interact. What they also do smartly, right, Sharad? I don't know whether you noticed that. So they know the typical US time for them it's 7 p.m. Let's say, for example, or 6 p.m. and goes till night 1 o'clock. They have the capsule in the morning. They have the capsule in the morning. So if you look at it, they may come to the office maybe instead of morning. We all and somebody host. Yeah, thank you. So instead of you, we and you be in the office at 9 o'clock, they may come at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the second off.
You can unmute yourself because I just muted you.
Sorry.
Please.
Okay. So I don't know whether it is prevalent in the organization, but this is some of the hacks which these leaders have been doing it successfully. They know the typical client's timing is from 7 p.m. Okay, and it goes up to the midnight and even things. So let me do balancing act in the morning. So these some of the hacks which we can discuss when we go through. So any pointers you want to discuss for the till now the slides we have covered? Any agreement, disagreement? I'm open to that. The more you disagree, which means you're more totally involved in the topic, and rather agree also.
Everyone,
Yeah,
please. Your responses are giving you the more actionable ideas. So please.
yeah. We have close to 28 participants here, and this is a topic I thought will be useful to everyone. So you can whatever views you can just put in the chat box. Yeah,
Yes, sir. And check this here.
yeah. Please.
So, yeah, this is, I think, as per my understanding in India, it is not a legal mandate, but companies are actually taking this as a best practice to attract the talent. So, in case like I think I see like this is a companies following as a best practice and putting as their internal policy and clearly defining as what is emergency, and in emergency they need to available it. So I think, is it allowed it, right? So because there is no legal mandate here, and even if employees challenge in the court uh, beyond working hours, so how can we handle it the such kind of situations?
Yeah, very good question, Jagdish. Right question. See, in Indian context, what is happening is it's getting evolved. So I would suggest these kind of situations to be handled with your supervisor, who is the first line, who is in consonance with you, and then your skip level boss. So that's how generally in Indian organizations work, because it's all designed from the top down approach, right? Now there will be cases where the employee feels the organization culture itself is not aligned to that your well-being. Then that is the case, you have to openly communicate to them. Yes, as I rightly said, the Indian legal thing is not fully evolved into that, so that may not be a right solution for an individual at this point of time. So getting to go with the employer on an open discussion and transparent, tell me your what are challenges you face, will be the right one, especially looking considering your professional growth in the organization. Okay, it should not be like operation success patient died. You may go and fight it out, then ultimately you should have have a stake in the organization. So it's a very good question, and that's how I would recommend you to look at this presently. And yeah, we also say one more point. Yeah, yeah. And added to that, like for example, if you look at it from PF or gratuity or other kind of statutory norms that are already very well, there are rules and systems in place. That's because of so many years. So I understand this also will get over the next few years. You will have a very great clarity on this from a constitution favoring both the parties and taking a balanced approach. That's way forward. I look at it. Yeah. So we are coming to a very interesting slide. What is reasonable? Okay, one in terms of employee perspective. Now let's say I'm an ID software professional, and my employees role after office hours, I get a client demo call. So should I take it up? I would say, as I was talking to Jagadish, it is purely an understanding between you and your team leader and the manager. And if you're taking a 1 hour extra, talk to your person and take a compensatory off. Okay, so that is how the rule. Now there are organizations where which may not give you that privilege. That's where you need to escalate and get things done. You have to tell to the people, hey, look, it will only affect my own productivity. Or some people will say, ask you to take a leave, and but then you have to rightly tell how many extra. You should have a documented thing. How many extra hours you've worked, in case I'm talking about where you don't have that opportunity. How many extra hours you've worked, and how that can be adjusted in the next 1 week or something. Yes, Sharad, many of the senior leaders at Tottenham, yeah, we already discussed. Yeah. Okay. Now, the urgency assessment. Yeah, okay. This is a very valid point, which I want to talk from an employer point. See, for an organization, ultimately we're here for business. For them, it is a P&L. For them, it is the revenues, right? That's why if that is not there, then we don't exist. So this is where we have to identify what is emergency, what is urgency, and we have to go with the flow. Now, here basically a project manager or a project lead or a general manager role should understand which are the verticals or which are the roles and responsibility employees have to stretch in a particular day or extended weekend. So he and the employees have to work in tandem. Urgency assessment have to be attended. There is no two way about that. We are here to support the organization, to support us. Okay, so that is purely it's no compromising on that. Now there might be critical cases where a female employee and one of thing that is something I have to do a balancing act. So these two are very, very important. Yeah, policy clarity importance. First, I understand that many of the organizations do not have a very clear cut policy, and thanks to Dinesh and forum for organizing this. That's one of the reason why we are here, so that you can go back to the drawing board and tell them how these are important to formulate a organization policy within a system, and so that everybody has a clarity, right? Instead of you addressing individually 300 people, it becomes when a policy is formulated, everybody will be on the dotted line. That's a objective of this. Yeah, any question on this particular slide? Otherwise we can go to the next one. Yes, Dinesh, we're going to the next slide. And even the refusal, okay, I'm talking about this. Be it very polite and see that suppose there'll be a case where you accepted that particular extra working, and again due to some your emergency situation not able to take it. See that the work doesn't get affected. See that you have alternative place. Talk to your other colleague. Hey, look, today I did accept this particular work, but I cannot do it. Can you take it? Absolutely, will be deleted. Tomorrow when he has the same situation, you take it. So it's purely an understanding. That's the only way this will work. Yeah. So what are the things which is unreasonable? This is exactly what I was talking in emergency. See, for example, I gave my own thing when I handle the operations, fleet management. There'll be occasions where I need to do a late night work. Then again, morning, I cannot say, "Hey, look, yesterday I worked till night 12 o'clock, and today morning I'll keep my mobile off and then wake up." No, the other stakeholders who are dependent on you, the vendors, they will not know about the what happened the previous day. At the end of the day, you are the person responsible. So you'll have to be attentive next day, and then maybe after the work, take few hours off. So this is a very common thing which happens. Or people in operations think you have to be there. You have to be visible where the work demands. That is the mantra. Where it is non-critical, you take the balancing act. That's the best way to navigate. Pre-established, yeah, that's what we are talking about. Yes. Anybody, it depends on companies. Sharath says policy because manufacturing companies, the employees are allowed overtime and comp off facility for going extra. Amazing. Yes, yes, yes. See, there is this other positive aspect of this. We're talking about overworking. I can see many organization in especially in outskirts where the employees earn a sizable amount by stretching themselves by overworking. Yes, the same one which we talked about a concern issue has helped many people come out of the EMIs, having a better lifestyle. So it's always have both the sides of the coin. Absolutely true. Yeah, absolutely right. And also says keeping an eye for employee work timing is important. It is not only about long hours, work pressures, but also bully boss seniors. See, this is exactly what is reasonable and what is unreasonable. That Lakshman Rekha is the most important binding aspect. Now, if you feel that is very important, if you feel that you're constantly okay, once or twice it's okay, emergency situation. If that's going to be the culture, if that's going to be the norm, then I think you'll have to speak out. You absolutely have to speak out. The earlier E&I case also, we don't know what happened. How many times that particular employee would have raised this in a forum? It's a bigger organization. Did they formally a complaint was raised? So similarly, if you have a problem with your culture, I think you have to talk to the stakeholders and look, it is affecting my thing, and this is how I would like to go along in the future. And this is the thing. There will be also a repercussion. That's okay. You have to take it. It's hard to take it. In a sense, maybe you may not be considered for bigger responsibilities and the thing. That's okay. Somebody, young guy doesn't have any personal commitments, who will be able to stretch more hours, let him do it. So these are the things which only you will know in your organization. Okay, when you look at it, how this can be tackled. Yeah, great point, Shanant. Yeah. Yeah, what are the legal obligations and their impact? This is exactly what question Jagdish was asking. At this point of time, the legal framework is not very clear about this aspect. So I would urge and support not to get into that particular aspect right now. Rather, keep it that as an information purpose. But having a transparent and open communication within their organization might give you a very good thing. Yeah, there is one previous slide. I think I just want to touch upon that work-life balance was there. Yeah, yeah. This is a very, very important one, which everybody is talking from the thing. What is work and what is life? I did talk about as a one-liner, but then it is your responsibility to divide it for your own productivity, for your own well-being. An organization can have only a guideline; they can only frame a rule, but it is you who have to make moves without affecting either your work productivity and your thing. So that's what exactly what you said. Role of employees, position, and responsibility be very clear, and you also make your supervisor also very clear, because especially there'll be people when you're constantly taking this extra thing, then you become a kind of S person. So this is something which I want to tell you. Never be in that kind of a category. Yes, sir. Dinesh, you can go to the next. Yeah, this is what we covered. Workplace culture shift and how this can be thing. Yeah. How do you manage disputes? Okay, what if I go and talk to my boss? How will I be perceived? Will I be perceived as a very no, not a workaholic person, or will I be perceived like you're a talkative person, or will I be viewed as a kind of a non-cooperative person? No, that's all a myth. So that is how what are the things which how we can address it is what we're going to cover the section 3. Any questions till now? So keeping an eye in employee work time is important, not only about now. Yeah. That we already covered that. If the team, Nicholas says, the team is fully supportive and unity, then sure we'll always maintain the work-life balance. Exactly on dot, spot on. It is a teamwork. Exactly. Okay. Only there's a one-man kind of show. You need to navigate this in different way. Otherwise, it's absolutely a teamwork. I need to sit and discuss over the table. It's not really about long hours, work pressure. Yeah. Right. Got to be very much flexible, visible in business operation activities so that the business should not get impacted. Yeah, absolutely. What if you say, okay, and I hypothetically imagine when we have the issue comes, let's say your super boss says, hey, look, from tomorrow, however you want it, we can take it. Do you think your organization can go and be flourishing? You can get that. Then ultimately, again, going to affect your productivity and revenues and promotions and increments and all these things. So there is always a like just like a traffic signal is regulates traffic to make life easier. A policy framework is always better for both the parties. So how do you manage the disputes? That's what you're going to cover. Yes, sir, Dinesh. Yeah. So talk to your people. If it is going to happen regularly in organization, I think the people, anybody from HR in the here, they know they definitely be having heads up on that, and they'll be discussing how to work on that. So otherwise, you can take it up from your organization point of it, how this can be given as a legal policy framework within your organization first. Forget about what France, Belgium, and all these things, or all India. Just look about your organization here at this point of time, how we can make things easier for everyone. Keep it simple. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, open dialogue. This is what we said. You need to be absolutely transparent. You'll have to talk about your pain areas. Do not keep your issues within yourself and suddenly after 6 months, don't say, I got burnout, I got into this problem. Then it's your mistake. You have to come out and talk to have an open discussion. If things don't work out, go to the next level. Get it resolved. In worst case, you have to look for some other option, some other organization or some other industry. Now, for example, as I told you, my best example, I'll give you one more thing. My own personal example. This happened a couple of years before I lost my mother. So she was not a bit sick for 6 months. And I got a call somewhere around 3 o'clock when I was my CFO. My face changed. He asked me what happened. I said, my mom is no more. I said, I have to leave now. So I told him, and he also was very like, you see, go on, and I'll come and think later. So I went to the organization. So what happened? I only told this to this leadership team that I had a mode of emergency. Now, coincidentally, in the same, we come in a thing where we had to do the rituals the same day. Around 7 p.m., I get normal calls. I get I got 2x, 3x calls. No, that my mobile was with somebody else. And you know what happened? I picked up the call at the funeral ground. Now it may look hypothetical or it may look crazy. No, because my other ladies were there. They said one is something has already happened, but coming from a kind of entrepreneurship family, they said pick up the call. Somebody else who may not be know what you are in state might require help. So I picked up all the 3 calls. Okay, and then I told them, please pass on this message to others in the organization. I mean, this funeral thing, I'm unable to take it further. So here, the 2 things. One is the other person who is other emergency may not know that you are also in this situation. So that's where the communication helps. So I did pick up the call, then communicated, hey, look, I'm here for next few hours. I'm not with there. I'm not sure about tomorrow whether I'm going to come. So I made some arrangement. Then I proceeded with my work. So this is something which you need to keep an alternative in place and then move on. What if I have kept my mobile off? Then nothing would happen for me. Nobody can ask a question. But as a responsible person, I thought, let me give a clarity, let me give the communication, then go into that airline mode or switch off mode, everything like that. So that's what I'm talking about, how you disconnect your work when kind of emergency. Yeah, so we have to have a policy in place. Any questions till now on this? Anybody has got any experience to share similarly for the benefit of our audience? This I shared because we may come across this kind of critical moments in our life, okay? Something which unplanned ones. So how you navigate this in a balanced way is that to tell that want to. Sharad says we have to sacrifice a personal life to achieve professional goal. It's a see. I wouldn't say sacrificing is the right word here, Sharad. If you ask my personal, I also agree with you because day in day out I do that. But for me, or for that, well, one is you have to understand the purpose. What is the purpose? Something beyond you, right? Something your role is actually one part in the organization. Your role is when you have a purpose much beyond you, automatically people start looking at you. Hey, look, as a leader, right? You are as influencer, right? Yes, and everybody's kind of dependencies are different. And the moment you start taking that as a purpose, what happens? The same sacrifice word might be something else. It'll say like, I'm a passionate about work. Yes, having said that, you'll have to draw a line. That Lakshman Rekha you need to definitely draw. Just because no for motivation, I say purpose or a bigger life thing, and tomorrow, no, your family shouldn't no be a thing. So I would say that see how that can be reasonably can be handled without affecting your professional growth. Yeah, because your personal life is important. I will definitely say don't sacrifice that. If it's going to happen regularly, or if you're not able to get a solution, look for options alternatively. Kishan says, one of my last assignment, I made a policy on late stay, working on holidays, weekends. This to ensure that employees are given opportunity to have personal time and work. Yes, 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 absolutely. You need to have a clear-cut policies, extended weekends. Saturday, somebody's working, give them a compensation off. Sunday, they're working, and also share these kind of things. What is within the framework, and somebody goes beyond a framework, and share it within your team. Hey, look, this guy on a particular day, he helped this team to do this, so that will encourage more people to help instead of anything which is forced upon we don't like, right? That's a typical human nature. I'm from a coaching background also recently, so I know anything which you do out of your likes, you will always do it in a much better way. Yeah. Yes. Where
Okay,
to
thank you
go?
so much, Suresh Krish, for giving the very different or unique kind of the topic and subjects in this the IWRC 2025. And when in the beginning you have been open up there, you ask some question, did the people know about it? It is really only one and two people know. But at an Indian perspective, that really effectively you said, it is not the legislation, it is about your culture, it is about your employer employee relation, it is your workplace safety, security, and the relation. How with the people connection you can rightly bring the right strategy for the organization, engage the people. At the end you inspire the businesses to grow. As usually our the protocol, so everyone please come to the screen before going for the 1 and 2 minute of question answer, because already we are delayed with the 10 minute, but 8 is the 2 minutes more, 3 other minutes we are taking, then I will invite to the another speaker, and that would be around start by 14:50. However, there is the break of 10 minutes. We must skip that break so that we can align with all the schedule what we have in further to. There are some important topics are behind which is coming upon. So everyone, out of 33, I can see only the 11. Please come to the
Um,
screen. Everyone, please.
Gresh, are you able to see my video? It says,
No,
are you
I'm
able to
not
see?
visible to see you.
Anyway,
So
once
you
it says
just,
if something is wrong, I had to rejoin and all. It says anyway. I'll try. Should I rejoin or it's okay?
yeah, you can rejoin, not an issue. So till then, everyone come to the screen. So please, out of 33, I think not more than around 20 should be on the screen. Then I'm going to click the first picture. To every one of you, rightly go to this that LinkedIn where I'm putting that link into here, the chat box. Next 2 minutes, then you can go to connect to all the speakers, and it is the connection, not just in the one side of the talk we are going to do. It is making the good connection with everyone, so this you can. That's all the speaker can help you in further if you require any support from them. So that's why the people manager platform is always helping you out to search the right kind of support for you. So first click I have been done. So just wait for 30 seconds only, then the question and answer session would be there, because first the speaker should be in the screen. If the speaker is not in screen, so what would we show into the either in the LinkedIn or Mr. Krish, are you there? I can't see you. Have you joined? Yeah, thank you so much. So now the last click, let me come on the screen. Thank you so much everyone. Okay, the last click I have been done. Please, the screen is now to Suresh Krish for the Q&A. So everyone, please give a big hand of applause to Mr. Suresh Krish, who has been delivered the new kind of input and the new scenario. However, in that working from the one place to the different time zones, and then further into as an organization, the people services, how perfectly effectively you can especially arrange these different settlement or the different arrangement for effectively to that the empowering, impressive, as well as that helping the organization to grow faster. So now the platform is open for the question and answer. Just for 2 minutes, the question and answer. If you have any question, you can ask directly to Suresh Krish, and he will answer. Then we are moving to the next session, that is with the positive duty and harassment in the era of either the modern workplace, either there are the multiple perspective of the models of workplaces, hybrid also there, and the digital where we are right now connecting, and now the global impact. So there are the many things where Radha Sharma is going to guiding us. She is a very senior fraternity into the this such posh related, and as well as the perspective, the positive duties. She has been experienced with a lot of organization, but here for 2 minutes only for the question and answer. Till then we are putting all that the picture we haven't kept on the LinkedIn, and then we are putting everything here for you so that you can write directly connect to up till if there is no question. Vivek, Dr. Vivek Trivedi, just okay. So Krushanand have the question. Ask your question, and
Yeah.
Mr.
So I
Krish
was,
is picking up.
Yes,
I
yes,
have
sir.
a
Yes,
question
Krish.
that post ENY incidents, do you really think that organizations have really taken a pragmatic view in terms of putting policies, regarding employee well-being? I mean, there would be a cover phrase that would have put in, but
Mm.
on a serious note, because still there is a, we see top leaders, I don't want to name, everybody knows it, asking to work for hours beyond, where that can be counted on, the wristwatch. So, do you really think that, we are ready in terms of having that kind of policies to be put in place, and do HR at times do have that voice in terms of putting such policies in the boardroom?
Yeah, yes, Krishna. In fact, consciously, I didn't want to touch that hours thing because that's everywhere gone. Each and every forum where I address, no, that's a question I'll ask as a panelist or moderator. And that particular instant for a particular batch in an organization, it was beyond out of proportion. But then, as rightly said, it's gone only across debates and discussion. Honestly speaking, a policy framework has not come, but it has created a very good kind of alarm bell across organizations. People started discussing within the boardrooms at least. So I think it's going to maybe a few months down the line. But if you ask specifically about our organization or your organization, it's still culture. It's a top-down approach. Yeah, it's still in the discussion stage, and it is not in the implementation stage. I can tell you on that. And about number of hours, it's still a myth. It is only the productivity which counts. Right? It is not a thing. Maybe for a TMS updation or your access card, all these things, that number may be a glorifying thing. uh, it is still in the initial stage as Indian context is concerned. Yeah, thanks. Very good question. And yeah, thanks for a lot of people in the chat box who asked questions, and thanks to Dinesh and people manager team for the amazing coordination. And I was part of that couple of presentations yesterday also. The way they carried the presentation and absolutely control of each and everything. Kudos to the team. Let's give a big hand. Also, our yeah, celebrate your thing in the chat box. I once again congratulate each of you for taking your time off and be here to get that thing. In case you have any other question, not any questions, we can yeah move on. Yeah. Thanks Sharad and Shanand and Dinesh others. Naipal Singh, thanks doctor. Yeah.
Thank you so
Any
much, Suresh Chris, for giving this big appreciation to my team and Dinesh and other team also. So on my end, the great initiative,
so
and you
I'll
have
give
taken
it.
the time of
I'll,
your.
I'll, I'll go with the closing remarks. Now you're going to right to disconnect from this particular topic and get connected to the next topic. And
Yeah.
yeah, so Dinesh will give me permission to disconnect me in the next few seconds.
Yeah, thank you so much. And however, the post we have been put it on the LinkedIn, so you can rightly go there, connect to everyone, to the speakers, And every speaker detail is here, and the yesterday speaker and today's speaker, so all the participant can check it out and can connect it directly if you have any that solution you are looking for, guidance from the speaker you are looking. Now we are moving to the next session, and that is with the Radha Sharma. So here we are specially putting up the rightly what is mostly required at the workplace, that is the positive duty. But can we assure, as in the people custodian, human resources, the positive duty are what? Whose role, whose contribution, and who can effectively implement, manage, and get the right direction for that? So here I